Day in my life as a 24-year-old entrepreneur living in New York City. Come check it out.
Today I was up at 6:15. Doesn't really matter what time you wake up, somebody's already been up for 3 hours before you. Today I managed to not immediately start doom scrolling or even check my email, which is a pretty good start for me. If I know the day's gonna be really busy, I'll almost always try to get some form of exercise done early in the morning. I absolutely hate fucking running. I'm not built for it in the slightest, and I find it so boring. But lately, the more I've been doing it, the better I feel mentally throughout the day. It's also a great excuse to get out of the house without having to go and spend any money, which in New York is a win.
I just got a ticket yesterday. Definitely cracking down on my street. I am sitting right here. It looks like it's right here. Alright, so now we're just gonna loop the block and wait for this guy to leave. Today I got a super busy day. What I'm trying to do is launch my first tech company / app, something to do related with home services in New York. Everything is taking much longer than expected, but the key thing that we're trying to pull out here is just trying to build an MVP, or a minimum viable product, which is the idea that when you go to market with something, or when you even just are building something in general, you don't want to necessarily dump a massive amount of capital or energy behind something that you haven't really tested. A lot of the ideas that entrepreneurs have end up being false and need to be reevaluated. This is all taken from The Lean Startup. Great book. If you haven't read it, definitely check it out. The last thing I'm going to do is kind of check in with my VA, virtual assistant, sure that he has the right hit list of stuff that we're going to be doing today, because we've got a super busy week. It's already Thursday. Let's jump into it.
Coffee is probably one of the favorite parts of my whole day, but I've had to hold off on drinking it first thing in the morning, otherwise I'm just crashing by 3 p.m. Also, I make most of my coffee at home, because who the fuck wants to pay $8 for a cappuccino? Normally, if I'm fasting, I'll usually have a double espresso because I find that it helps kind of suppress my appetite, and I can hold out longer till around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Even if I'm not fasting, I'm going to try to keep breakfast relatively light because I find that it keeps me more sharp, mentally focused. I always start my day with the thing that I want to do least. In this case, it was a prospection video for my agency. I'll have my VA respond to any emails and phone calls in the morning so I can get deep work done. And then in the afternoon, I'll usually check in to put out any fires. There was such a good sunset tonight, so my girlfriend and I decided to eat dinner outside on my rooftop. I still have a project to wrap up for a client, so after dinner, I'll just be working until I can't keep my eyes open. To be honest, I've thought about starting a personal brand for a while now, and for some reason, I have just hesitated and started over and over and over again. And I've shot tons of content and around the world, and I've always thought about doing it. And I also tell my clients all the time, I'm like, you have to start a personal brand. You want to build authority. You want to be this person online, but something has always held me back. And I think that the main thing is the fear of being cringe online. The truth is that the big wins come from small wins. It comes from waking up a little bit earlier. It comes from pushing yourself a little bit harder. It comes from doing something terrifying. But those results keep compounding. And each little step, hopefully, will lead me one step closer to where I want to be.